Hey townies, I'm Sharon and you're watching the Mountain City Show. Today we're going to talk about aliens and ghosts. You'll get to hear some of our favorite childhood stories, so stick around, become a resident of the mountain, hit the like and subscribe button, and let's dive in.
Okay, ready whenever you are.
Yes. Okay, what is a scary movie that scared you so bad that you would never watch it again?
The Exorcist, the original one. I will never ever watch that, and it'll never be in my house. Like
That
a
was
copy of
creepy
it.
as shit.
I'll never have that because it happened in Baltimore. Like the real story is in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or I think it was Georgetown. I will
Yeah.
never ever have that in my house, or a Ouija board. I will never have a Ouija board.
I think one of the creepiest ones was that one about Emily Rose.
I didn't see
Based
that.
on a true story.
What was that about?
She was a young girl from a real religious family, and she became possessed.
Really?
And she died during the exorcism.
Oh God.
Yeah. And it went to court, and they tried to prosecute the priest that gave her that did the execution. It's really good. It had Laura Linney in it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen the priest who does The Exorcist do an interview? It's on YouTube. You want to talk about?
There's a couple of them now that do it.
They did a couple interviews and they're
But
on
it
YouTube.
is scary as shit.
It is super scary.
And for them, they're trying to differentiate what is actually a mental illness
Yes.
versus.
They try. They call in doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists. They call all them people in to say to rule out everything, and then he comes in.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
It is.
It is super scary. And I do believe in, there's definitely a whole lot we don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
I believe in ghosts. I've seen
Oh, yeah.
a ghost.
I want to hear the one about when I was a little kid and you were little.
That is one that I will, unless I end up, forgetting who I am, I'll carry that till I die.
Really? Tell me.
You were outside playing. I forget how old we were. Maybe I was 10.
I think I was
you were
5.
5.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you could actually let your kids run around and not have to worry about someone stealing them or violence or anything. We grew up in a time where you could leave your house unlocked and we all came and gone. And, your parents were never around. We all raised ourselves, basically.
We are.
Back in that time. But you were outside playing with your friends, and I didn't know it. And, I was in the bathroom, and Phil would always try to jump out and scare me, and he was a brat when we were little.
I was a little asshole.
But I always got in trouble for it. Apparently I was the instigator. Dad used to say, "Stop instigating him," and I would be like, "Ugh, ugh," and then I cry all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was him. I'm in the bathroom, the door's open. I don't know what I was doing, brushing my teeth or getting out. And I see a boy standing there, and he has jeans on and like a flannel shirt on. And it was like he was there, and then it's like he jumped back like I couldn't see him. So it made me think that Phil was trying to scare me. And I was like, "Mom, Phil's up here. You better stop it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, she comes up, what are you screaming at? He's not here. He's over at his friend's house playing.
Oh, yeah?
And then I freaked out.
Did you? I remember coming home.
It was so bad, Mom had to call the preacher.
I remember that.
Over.
I remember coming home, and I was like,
so
what's
bad.
going on, Mom? What's going on?
And I always had a feeling like when we were growing up in that house that there was something there. Like I never felt alone. I always felt like something was watching me. Always creepy. Don't you remember how creepy it was? Sometimes we'd sit out on the porch because our parents wouldn't be home from work.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes we'd just go out there and sit on the porch because we were too scared to be in the house.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because there was a feeling in that house.
Yeah,
there
I
was
remember
something in that house.
Yeah.
It was an extremely uncomfortable house.
Yeah,
That's what I remember. I remember always being on edge. I remember my parents fighting a lot in that house.
Yeah, I remember that.
There was a lot of, negativity in that house. A lot of stress in that house.
Yeah, there was.
It wasn't a good feeling.
No.
Wasn't a good feeling.
I don't remember. Here's my recollection. I don't have a lot of memories from that.
Really?
No. I don't really have
you were little. Phil and I are like 4.5 years apart.
Yeah. So I don't really remember a lot of it.
But I remember that. And I remember definitely I remember the ghost thing. And I just remember always being scared in that house, always feeling like there was a presence in that house.
Yeah, I was always scared in there.
Always somebody was watching me, and it was like just really like something was hovering over me all the time.
And like the backyard was nothing but woods. We had this huge backyard.
But I was never scared of the woods. Like we would walk down through the woods to the Frostburg pool in the summer.
Yeah, we would.
And everybody did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
Mom
I
would
was
leave
never
us.
scared of the woods.
Like they'd leave us $1, and that was enough for us to get in the pool.
It's literally the truth, people.
Enough for us to get in the pool and get a couple drinks and maybe a snack.
Yeah, we would come home from school and we would have to build a fire
the
wood stove.
Yep. So my job, and I remember,
like 6 years old, 7, 8 years old.
I was 6. And I remember doing that. Like I remember my job was to fill put all the wood in and the newspaper in, and then you would come over and light it. That was my job at 6 years old.
Yeah.
Could you imagine giving that to your kids at 6 years old?
Hell to the no.
Right?
No.
I can't either. 6 years old.
It's like you
and you're 10.
Responsibilities on you like an adult.
Right?
All the time.
All the time, man.
That's how we grew up back then. Like our parents were
Generation
around.
X.
Everybody did.
That's how the whole generation's like that.
You get sick at school and they'd call your parents and mom's like, well, are they throwing up?
Yeah, right.
If you're not throwing up, I'm not coming to get you.
I'm not coming to get you. Leave them in the office.
Yeah. Then you'd have to walk home from school all the time by yourselves. I mean, we're talking little kids here.
Oh,
and everybody did it.
We walked. Oh, my God.
Everybody did it.
The hill was like this.
And then remember when they had block parents? And listen, it was a block parent group by the PTA, and they had yellow signs, and it said block parent, and they would put it in their windows so that if you were out or something happened and you were walking home or you got scared, you could run to one of those houses and know it was safe.
Yes, I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yep. I remember getting chased by a freaking white van, and I ran to, you remember, this is no shit.
Crazy shit. So
you were in junior high, which is middle school, and I was still in the elementary school.
Yeah.
And I walked home, and I was walking by myself. Like, my friends were off that day or whatever, and it was just me. And I got up to that church, which is right above the Sanford's house, and I was like, well, I'll take the shortcut. So I'll cut through the church and then go up to the house that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's an alley.
Yeah.
Well, then here comes this white van.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, what the shit? Maybe they don't want me. So I ran. Right? And they kept following me. I was like, so I ran on their porch and just sat.
I think that was the biggest thing back then is people trying to,
snag
take
kids. Yep.
Not like today we got all this human trafficking problem, but back then,
maybe we had it back then.
Like my kids have no idea. Like you literally raised yourself because your parents, if your parents weren't divorced, then your friends' parents were divorced. By the time I got out of high school, like everybody's parents were divorced.
That was,
and we all had such a close knit of friends. Like we just supported each other
they
with
were
our
family.
problems.
Like our friends were family.
Our friends, you would confide in your friends and not your parents.
Oh, absolutely.
All the time.
Forever. It's been like that for my whole life.
And it's like, we had to do a lot of things that you wouldn't even dream of letting your kid do today.
No, like I was 6 years old and didn't have to be in until the streetlights came on.
And then in the summer, we would be home by ourselves all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because our parents worked.
Yep.
So all summer long, they'd leave us, like Phil said, they'd leave us like
dollar.
each a dollar
dollar
to go to the swimming pool because it cost like 50 cents to get in. So you had 50 cents to get a drink or something if you needed it.
Yep.
And that's what we did.
And if you didn't get your chores done, Dad would whip your ass when you came home. I mean, it's the truth. It is.
Yeah.
He would just throw down the law, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's true. That happened.
That house was, when I look back on that house we lived in, that was scary.
The one on Pine Street.
Yes.
Yeah, nope. I drove past that not long ago.
Nope.
Sometimes I drive past it.
Gives me vibes. Well, I don't tell everybody what house it is because I know somebody who lives in the house, and I wouldn't want to freak her out.
I wouldn't want to freak her out either.
I like her.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to pee off the front. You remember this? I used to pee off the front porch.
Yeah, you were a bad kid.
I was the worst kid ever.
You were a brat.
I can admit that.
You'd be going, fuck you, Mom.
Yeah, at 5 years old.
Listen, he would be giving my mother the finger.
Yeah.
She would grab him and beat his butt and then put pepper on his tongue, and he never cared. He would still do
Yep,
it.
I was defiant to the end.
He would still do, fuck you. All the neighbors would hear it. This little kid running around shooting a finger, peeing off the front porch and yelling, fuck off. It's true when you didn't get your way.
Yep,
Yeah.
you're right. You were 100%
Horrible.
right.
Horrible.
I was a bad kid.
I was too scared. Dad look at me wrong and I'd start crying. I mean, it's the truth, right? He'd look at me wrong and I'd be like,
You're right.
how was your day?
You get this.
Yeah, how was your day today?
It's okay. You remember when you weren't allowed to sit at the table because you were chewing with your mouth open?
Yep.
He'd make you sit in the
Listen, everybody, I'm not ashamed
And I'm
to tell.
telling you.
It's a funny story now, but back then when I was a little kid, I would smack my lips when I ate. Totally not aware of it.
Nope.
My dad couldn't take it. He'd yell and scream at me and make me go sit in the dining room by myself and eat. And I'd be crying, trying to eat. Do you remember that? Me crying. I would cry.
You'd cry.
I'm sorry.
I can't help it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
It's so true.
I remember that.
That shit went on.
Oh, yeah. It did. After you done took care of yourself, built a fire, did dishes, took out the trash, did all the parent things, and then they come home. I don't like the way you chew.
Stop smacking your lips.
I'd be like, shit, you want me to get a job? I'm 7. I can work. I can put something in. You know what I mean? It's the truth. Like, holy shit, I didn't know when you were freaking turned 6, you were an adult. You know what I mean? Like, Dad, you want a paper round?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just spent this much money on you this year.
You want a paper route?
For your existence.
You want a paper route? Yeah, we can get you a paper route. I had a paper route. I'll show you my paper route.
I sold hangers on the street corner. I've heard that a million times.
Yeah, me too. You know how many times I've seen his paper route? He's took me every time I go to Baltimore. He wants to go, let me show you my paper route. I was like, damn, Dad, we've seen this shit so many times. I think I could deliver for you. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
But that is true. That makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It does. But no, you were right with that. There was something about that house. Because I remember I'd always cry at night and I never wanted to go to sleep. But I mean, I had trouble sleeping.
I didn't
want to
go upstairs.
No, I didn't want to go upstairs.
Because our bedrooms were upstairs. It was just not a good feeling in there.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you know, back then, like, nobody was ghost hunting. We didn't have these shows. Nobody understood anything. So if you said anything, everybody thought you were a kook.
Yeah, but you also remember they had, which I think is a huge problem nowadays, is they don't have mental health hospitals anymore. They got rid of them all.
What are you going to say? Like, if you said anything back there, they'd put you in a mental hospital.
Well, yeah. So, like, I remember there was a neighbor.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I remember, like, one of the old neighbors, people thought something was wrong with him. He was there one day and going the next.
Yeah.
Like, they would actually have people come to your house and evaluate you. And if something was wrong,
yeah,
you know, the people in the white jackets.
Yeah.
Put you in the straight jacket. And away you go. Remember all them stories?
Yeah.
You know, but we didn't have any of the problems that we have now.
No.
You know?
But, you know, now you understand yourself, too, a little more because you know, if you're an empath or if you're this or that, because some people aren't affected and some people are dramatically affected.
That's true.
Like when I walk in a room, I can feel everybody's emotions.
Yeah.
And it really does something to me. Like I have to make sure I don't take on everybody else's emotions. Yes.
Oh,
it's
wow.
a big time.
That'd be horrible.
It was horrible. And I think that's why I cried and was so emotional as a child all the time.
You were sick too.
Oh, yeah.
But you know why?
No.
We all know why.
We all know why.
Now we know
why.
My
mother used to say, Sharon was such a sickly kid growing up.
It's like that.
Sharon was such a sickly girl. It's because I was allergic to 2 cats, okay? And I didn't find out till I hit like
35.
35 when I went and had all these allergy testing done. You know, when I became an adult and got my own health insurance and everything.
Yeah.
And found out, number 1, you're allergic to cats.
Biggest
No
thing.
wonder I died all those years with headaches and
and
sneezing.
everyone was like, she's so sickly. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen to her. She is always sick.
Then I was emotional. I was an emotional child. Well, I wonder why that is.
Aren't most children emotional?
I'm an empath. I pick up everybody else's emotions. I can read people really easy. And so I've learned all this about myself throughout the years. I know how to control it so that I don't do that and don't get upset.
Well, that's
and
kinda
don't
cool.
start crying and
Yeah.
whatever.
That's pretty neat. I don't have that.
Yeah. You're lucky.
No, I don't have
Yeah.
that. Mm-mm.
I mean, I had a girl once, she came in and her dog was sick, and honest to God, she wasn't even in there 5 minutes to tell me about it, and I was just bawling like a baby right along with her.
Really?
I could just, yes,
Oh, jeez.
feel all that. I was like, oh my God.
So
Yeah.
I do have actually have a couple ghost stories. I have two, I think. I now have one for sure. Two. So do you remember when, you remember Sam McCullough?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember him?
Yeah.
And he passed away?
Mm-hmm.
So my friend lived right next door.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, his dad was there for all of that. And apparently, like that doorbell to that big white house with the pillars was only programmable by him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day it started playing a different song.
Hmm.
And then
I believe
the
in
house
ghosts.
that he was in,
Mm-hmm.
like Sam was supposed to get that, I guess, whenever he got married. And they were like my friend's parents were renting that until they built their house.
Mm-hmm.
And once their house was built, they were moving. But he was supposed to get that house. And after he passed away, like you'd hear someone walking up and down the steps because the house had two different staircases in it. One in the back and then the main one in the front. But you would hear someone walking all the time. I mean, all the time.
I want to get one of those ghost meters. And did I tell you that I went on a big naval ship down in Charleston? Okay, so I took Kylie down, this was years ago, to look at a college down there. And so since I had to drive all the way down there and everything, I secretly booked a ghost hunting tour on this big naval ship down there.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell her, or Jordan is her cousin. I didn't tell them till right before dinner. I said, make sure we got to take some clothes to change into because we're going on a ghost hunt tonight.
What'd they say? Did they go?
They were like,
did they go?
Yes, they went.
Did they?
And it was really amazing to be on a ship like that. I had never, experienced a big naval ship where the planes fly in and everything. And it was nighttime, so it was all lit up. And here on one side, they had the Boy Scouts. They have a program where the Boy Scouts from all over the United States come and stay and learn about the ship and everything like that during the summer. Mm-hmm. And inside, they have big planes, different kinds of planes in it. Mm-hmm. So they've turned it like into a little museum in there. But like the Ghost Hunter show, there's so many of them right now.
Yeah, there's
the original
a bunch.
Ghost Hunter show.
Yeah, I remember that.
Actually went in there and captured a bunch of stuff in there.
Did they?
So when we went in there, they're like, who wants to hold this? I don't know what it is, this ghost meter. I'm like, oh, me. And my daughter's looking at me like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And I was in my glory. Of course I got it. And
anything go off?
No, and we were back. There was a dark hallway, and he's like, this is where they captured pictures of, and everybody's going this way, and here's Sharon still standing back there waiting to see if I can catch anything on the camera. And Kylie's like, we got to go. We got to go. Like they were freaking out. But it was really neat, going through all that. But I enjoy that, and, I've been wanting to go with my friend Tina for so long, but working as much as I had been working for a long time, now I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I have one other one, which still freaks me out. So years ago when I lived in South Florida, I had an apartment, and it was on the first floor, and it was in a little complex called the Vinings.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Just north of Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
And one night, I always had a problem sleeping my whole life, and I was laying in bed. I didn't even have really any covers on. And I was just laying there looking. And I remember, like, because you know how you say you hide underneath the covers?
Yeah.
No, I didn't have any on. So I'm rolling to the left. If I'm laying in the bed like this, to the left is the sliding glass door that walks out to the grass. And, the little patio area, whatever. And over to the right is the bathroom. So I'm sitting in there, and I roll over to the right, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, damn it, I can't sleep at all. I am freaking wide awake. I roll back over, and there is literally a girl standing at the sliding glass door in blue jeans, white top.
Was she on the outside of the door or the inside?
Inside. In a white top.
Was she facing you?
No, she was looking out the door.
Oh.
And with blonde hair. And I'm like, I look and I'm just like, well, I know I ain't tired, so I can't be like seeing shit. So, all right, let me look back over here. No.
Yeah, it seems to occur in seconds when you least expect it.
And I was like, let me look back over here because this shit ain't happening.
Yeah.
I look back over and she's still there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Ain't no way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. I start rubbing my eyes. I roll back over and I'm like, just turn my head. I didn't roll. I just turned my head. And I'm like, all right, let me look. So I look back over for the third time. And instead of her being at the sliding glass door, she's right at the side of my bed. And she's going like this.
Mm.
Right? And then when she goes like this, she starts coming to me with her finger. And honestly, she had like a light around her. And when she did that, I couldn't move or talk. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
And so then, you're freaking out, but you can't move.
Did
so
she
anyway,
just disappear?
I freaking finally rolled back over and I kept looking at her and I got off the bed and towards the other side and then she disappears. And I'm just like, what the fuck was that? And then I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep all night. So then the next day I get up and one of the neighbors goes, did you hear what happened? This shit happens in a city too, not just in a small town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, what happened? He's like, your neighbor right over there on the other side just got murdered last night. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, that's freaky.
And I was like, they're like, no, I'm serious. I was like, well, how old was she? They were like 19. And I was like, what? I guess she lived by herself? Yeah. And I was like, okay, thanks. You know what I mean? I was like, and I start putting it together. But, back then we didn't have social media and all that stuff. And,
yeah.
They don't put pictures of people who got murdered in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And especially in a city, I mean, it happens so much that there's probably not even a blurb. So was it her? I have no idea. But that actually did happen.
I feel like these ghost shows, like they capture certain things and whatever, but I don't feel like anybody's like really gotten anything majorly big.
I don't think.
Like I haven't seen an exorcism where somebody's head spinning around and they really have supernatural strength. Like people talk about
talking
stuff.
Tongues. Remember the big one was talking in tongues, which I guess would be Latin maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I mean, sometimes I feel like some of it's staged on these shows, the ratings, like Zach Baggins and
maybe. Probably. I would say some
that.
of it is.
Some of it has to be. And some of it I don't believe is, too.
Or they over-dramatize an event that happened.
That's it. They over-dramatize it.
And it was a small little event, and then they embellish it to the point where you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it could be happening.
But, I mean, I don't see anybody, like, floating up in the air and being grabbed and pushed and shoved supernaturally.
And I did see Eddie.
Oh, yeah. At the building.
Yep. I saw Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him twice.
I haven't had that encounter.
Saw him on the second floor window pulling in.
So we have our family has a building in Cumberland, and it was the old Moose building.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's on Moose Curve.
Yep.
Okay, even though it's not there anymore, if you tell anybody in town the Moose Curve, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where it is, but apparently, it has a ghost in it.
It does.
I haven't seen the ghost, but I know Karen.
Yes.
Karen was one of our father's co-workers.
Mm-hmm.
She worked for him.
Yep.
And she actually had a one-on-one encounter 2 times.
Yeah.
And she said it scared the shit out of
She
her
thought it
so
was me.
bad she would never go up on the second floor again.
Yeah, she thought it was me. She literally the
that's what
first
she
time she
told me.
thought she was talking to me.
She told me. And Dad doesn't tell us stuff all the time, but Dad lives on the 3rd floor of the building.
Yep.
And he's had things happen up there.
He won't tell you.
Well, no, but his girlfriend Phyllis was spilling it out at the time about the light coming on in the closet all the time.
All the time.
And it's like a hardcore light. Like you literally got to go over there and
you got to open up the door to get in.
You got
to turn the light on.
A heavy old switch on there.
Yep.
It just doesn't light up and come off. And then she said at nighttime she would hear music and like lots of people talking because they had a lot of
parties,
gatherings there, a lot of events.
Yeah, that was all like their social place. They'd have all these tables
I
and
personally
eat and dance.
even tried to find this Eddie once, and I'm like, talk to me in the dark, and nothing ever happened. That's probably why, because
I've seen him twice.
I'm waiting, I'm expecting it, and it doesn't happen.
And I know, so like I remember when Dad first had the...
Oh, I got to tell you about Katie going in there.
Right, so, yeah, hold on. So when Dad first bought that building, I worked for him at the blanket place, and he was living in Florida.
Yeah.
So Me and Karen went there. You
Yeah.
know, I went there first and took pictures of the whole thing. Right. And, you know, sent them to Dad. And then we eventually moved the blanket place, the sports place down in there. And I remember working, you know, checking people out because Dad was like, well, instead of just wholesaling stuff, we'll sell it to the community at a really good price for them. So we get customers in there. And I remember the one lady coming in going, have you met Eddie? And I was like, it was her and her husband. I was like, Eddie? What's Eddie? And they're like, you haven't met Eddie? And then Karen was there and she was like, oh, yes, I have met Eddie.
I can see her
twice.
saying that too.
She's
Just
like,
like
tell
that.
me what you know.
Yeah.
Right? And that's
I
what
can
she
see
said.
her saying that.
And so then the lady began to tell her that Eddie was a member of the Moose and he's just here.
Like he did a
He
lot
passed
of
away, did
was
a
he
lot
a
of work.
maintenance man or something?
Something like that.
Or
I can't remember.
he did something there.
But he loved it. He spent all his time
he loved
there.
it there.
And he was harmless.
Yeah.
You'll just see him.
Yeah.
And which I think helped calm Karen down a little bit.
Yeah.
After she had a couple encounters with
But
Eddie.
still, I mean, that's you walk around the corner and see a man standing there, it's going to flip you out. Like,
Yes.
you know, when you think you're by yourself.
Yes. See, that happened to me.
mean-
I saw him all the way across the room. And he was gone in a second.
I've never seen him. Don't want to. Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah, and then I saw him in the second floor window looking out while I was driving
I haven't
in.
seen anything.
Because I always look. I can't help it.
I haven't seen anything. But I can tell you this.
When
So
Kate moved in?
the second floor is an apartment like two. It's
Yeah.
pretty big. It's got a bedroom and a real nice kitchen and everything. So my youngest daughter moved in there temporarily for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the night she moved in there, it sounded like somebody was at the door just pulling and trying to get in the door. You could hear the whole door. Dad said he woke up on the third floor because he was sleeping. He woke up and he could hear it.
Which door? That main door
I guess the
out
main
front?
door out front when you walk up the steps, you know, the
Oh,
main
God.
glass door.
Yeah.
He said it sounded like somebody, the whole apartment was going to come down, the whole building. And it was like somebody was just beating the shit out of the door trying to get in.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it scared him to death, scared her. He said he got up with his gun.
Oh, wow.
And then it just stopped. And
Wow.
my daughter is very religious.
She is.
And I thought that was an odd thing. And
It is.
And Dad said he looked out the window to make sure there wasn't an accident on 68 and there wasn't, you know,
Somebody
anything
walking
going
around.
on. Because, I mean, it's right off of the highway, so there's a lot of, you know, riffraff and things. People
Yeah.
get pulled over all the time there in our parking lot.
A lot
and
of
everything.
possibilities.
And so I went in the next day, and me and a coworker of mine looked on the security camera because we have security cameras all the way around the building.
Yeah, they're
We
everywhere.
looked the entire night and didn't see a thing.
Oh, God.
We looked on 68, didn't see a thing, even surrounding nothing.
Wow.
And the one thing I can tell you is that in the CBD store,
Yeah.
we were looking, and then all of a sudden, everything, all the technology lights up in the store
Oh, that's freaky.
all at once. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, because we were like, what
That's
the hell
freaky.
is that coming on for? And then you see this light go whoosh
Oh,
Right.
yeah?
over the register, over the countertop, and went whoosh right through and went right through the door, right out the door.
Wow.
And we were like, what? And Robbie goes, what the fuck was that? Back it up. We got to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
And it was like this bright light. Just, I mean, you couldn't help it. It was right there. You saw it whoosh right through. And then everything turned off.
Oh, wow. That freaked me out. I don't know
Everything
if I
turned
could
off.
even watch
And
that.
I thought, they're not alone in there. It's a
No.
good thing I'm not. Thank God I don't live there. And
No.
But I didn't tell Katie that because I didn't want to flip her out.
Oh,
'Cause she
that'd-
was already really upset about that.
Yeah,
you
that
know.
freaked her out.
She thought somebody was trying to get in, and it scared
Yeah.
the shit out of her.
She's young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's freaky.
And it scared Dad.
You had to get Dad up something.
Yeah,
You
he
know
was
what I mean?
on the third floor, so whatever was going on in there.
It was
He
loud.
said it was like somebody was shaking the shit out of the door, beating on the door, trying to get in, and there was nothing the entire night on the video.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely zero.
Oh, wow. Maybe you should call ghost hunters. They'll come down and investigate and want to pull the
I've
file.
tried to go in there and see what's going on, but nothing happens for me.
Be thankful because you'll see it and you'll be like, oh,
It does feel a little
dear
creepy,
God.
though, because I've had to go up and down there quite a few times here. You know, because he's out of town and take care of everything. And it is a little eerie when you're going through there by yourself.
It
You
is.
just get a feeling like
It is.
you're not
Somebody's
alone.
watching you.
You're not alone.
No, somebody is watching you.
There's something there. You're not alone.
Yep. The little hairs on the back of your
Yep.
neck stand up. And you're
You
like,
can feel
something's
it.
wrong.
You can feel it.
Yep.
I feel it on the 3rd floor.
Yes. At the 3rd floor going to the 2nd floor.
Yes,
That's the main one,
it is.
at least for me.
Yeah.
And usually when I walk upstairs and I walk to just the 2nd floor, it's not that bad. But once you start walking to that 3rd floor, you can kind of feel it.
Yep.
And then inside that
Yep.
that apartment, there's something.
I always am like looking around and whatever.
I
but,
do.
You know, I've had to go up there a few times, check the heat and everything.
There have been times I walked around that building going, Eddie, I don't care if you're here, buddy. I just don't want to see you.
Yeah, right.
You can throw something at me. I'm good with
I
that.
don't want to see you
but
today.
I don't
thanks.
want to see you.
Keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Yep.
Leave me alone.
Look, we're not damaging your stuff. We're making it nicer. I promise. I tell him that all the time walking around there.
Yeah, there are ghosts. There are.
There are. I believe in them.
Yep.
What about aliens?
Yep. I believe in them. Do you?
Yeah. Did you see the fighter plane
I
footage?
think if you think we are the only living creatures with intelligence, and do we even have intelligence at this point? I'm starting to wonder about all of us.
Ain't that the truth?
Honestly, no way. How can you think that there's not more out there? There's infinity and beyond, okay?
Right.
There has to be more out there. And what about all the unexplained UFOs and things, that people see?
Oh, yeah, especially that
How do you account for that?
that footage from that fighter pilot where he captured
What's that movie that
Which movie?
oh, there's a movie out. It's been out. What is that?
An alien movie?
Yeah, no, it's about this scientist, and he's got all this evidence, and how the government's been covering.
You mean a
it up.
documentary?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Documentary.
Oh, I can tell you who the big proponent is for that. He was a singer of, I think it's Blink 182. I can't remember his name, but he is super into it. And he hired all these professional people to investigate it. And I will say one of the great things that's happened here, at least recently, is that Congress has decided to say that, yes, there is stuff out there that we just can't explain.
Yes, because they have documents and
Yep.
everything.
They have so many documents.
So many people have come forward that work for the government that
Yes.
say, yes, this has been going on
For years.
for years. I
Yeah.
mean, how could we be that stupid and self-absorbed to think that there is no other intelligent life out there?
And, if you ask,
know?
they get mathematicians
on.
and they'll sit there and tell you it's mathematically
Whether,
impossible.
even if it's religion, so what?
Yep.
God created all of us and everything. It doesn't mean he's limited to create anything else.
That's right. I agree with that.
Come on.
I think that, I definitely believe in aliens. It would be nice. I think we could probably use some right now. If they just showed up in D.C. and Moscow, I think things would go a lot better. Now's the time to come on down.
Yeah, come on down. 'Cause
Come on down. We
some help
need
here.
to direct something to.
Our,
yeah.
our government. We need to start over. Is there a reset button?
Yeah. Right. Can
can
reboot?
we just reboot this whole shit in government of ours? Because it's failing. It has failed
years?
us for years, and now it's to the max where, the government control, the corruption, and everything is just so bad, and we're getting more and more oppressed. We're all going to be standing in a soup line soon.
Oh, I agree. It's horrible.
With groceries the way they are.
This one, I saw a theory, and this theory actually made sense. It said that it stems from a lot of things that are going on, which is, you're going to own nothing and you're going to love it. But in return, you're going to be an employee. We're going to provide you housing. We're going to provide you health care. We're going to provide you food for you to work for us.
Sort of reminds me of China.
Right?
Because, everybody, those companies over there, everybody lives there.
Yeah.
That works at the company.
Uh-huh.
They have a place for all their workers to live.
Yep,
You ever seen that?
Yeah, they provide them all
You ever
housing.
watch some of that?
It's horrible.
It is fucking horrible. They're slaves to their
company.
government
Yeah,
and the companies.
And the company. It looks like that's what is trying to happen. Like,
Here,
yeah, you can kind of see it slowly.
they like to oppress everybody.
Oh, absolutely, they do. And
Yeah.
the more we argue with each other, the better off they are.
Yeah. We need to stop, and we need to come together and say.
That's why I think when you look at
we got to figure out a way to do it, because this voting, you can't trust the voting system. You can't. It's not a solution anymore.
No, it's not.
It's not going to help us.
No, it's definitely not.
Everything's so corrupt.
Oh, it is.
And it's like, it's not getting any better.
Yeah. I did see the one thing for the aliens where they went over to a country. I can't remember what European country, and they literally had video that would blow your mind.
I believe it.
And
scary too.
The other countries are way more open about it than they are here.
Yeah.
So here wanted to deny it forever and ever and ever. It was Italy. And Italy, their government went ahead and made a whole program for it and share all your information with us. Tell us everything you get. And they put it all out to the public.
Yeah.
Whereas here, no. They finally admitted that there's actually something out there that they have no clue what it is. But they had to change the name. It's not UFOs anymore. It's what? UAPs? Something like that. Yeah, they changed the name. It's not a UFO anymore. It's like a UAP. Yeah, I think it's UAP.
What do you think of all this artificial intelligence now? You know that, what is that? That chat AI or
Chat
something?
GTP.
Yes. And did you hear what that thing's doing? So every time any of us are on there asking it for stuff, it's learning from our questions.
Yes.
It's becoming smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter.
Uh-huh.
So at some point, I'm going to feel like it's the Terminator age. And
Yeah,
we're
right?
going to all be getting controlled by this intelligent AI that we lose control of because it's going to outsmart how we're controlling it.
Yeah, the Matrix.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like we're a foot in there.
Yeah.
Some people think, do we live in a matrix? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Everything's
They asked
possible.
Elon Musk, and he said, there's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, everything is possible.
We could be.
I believe everything is possible.
Yeah, I do too. And
There
I
are
will
no
say
limitations.
this. Like, if you live out in a country like we do, and you go outside in the summer, and you look up, and you can see all those stars, it'll humble you real quick. Like, there's a whole lot we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been doing that for thousands of years. Humans have been looking up at them stars going, there's a whole lot we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, definitely, there's definitely something. And it's way more. And I honestly believe that they know way more, and they just won't tell you. Because
they do.
how it'll affect either the
They
population
do.
here.
They don't want to freak everybody out.
Yeah, how it'll affect the population here, or how they'll be perceived on the world stage.
Yeah.
Right? Do I think that we got a technology from them? Maybe. I mean, I remember when fiber optics were coming out. That was a big thing.
You know what I think? I think that we're really years ahead in the technology, like even with cars.
Yeah.
But they put it out in increments because they're making money from us.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't put it all out at once. You got to put it out in increments.
Yep.
So that they can sponge us for more money.
Oh, it's all about the dollar.
Instead of give us the quality stuff up front. Nope. We'll introduce that next year. They probably got a fucking 10-year plan.
Probably a 100-year plan.
This is what we're going to increment more and more and more and more.
Like, I remember when fiber optics came out when we were young, and everyone was saying they got that from alien technology. They got that from alien technology. That's where it came from. Mm-hmm. That just didn't happen.
No.
And I was like, maybe.
What is that man's name on that
Bob
document?
Lazar?
No. Well, he was one of them.
He was one of them that worked at Area 51.
What is that?
His story's been the same for 35 years. So, I mean, you kind of got to give him some credibility. He hasn't changed his story, not one word, in 35 years.
Was it First Contact or something?
What was it on?
Yeah. Everybody has seen that. I mean, tons of people have watched it. Got to put on my specs.
What was it on? Like what?
Aliens documentary. His name was Steven something.
I don't know. 2019?
No.
The origins of aliens?
Stephen Greer.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yes.
Let me pull him up. I've heard of him.
I mean, he said people even tried to kill him. Some people have been killed for telling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on. Yeah, he's a huge proponent for that. And, I think a lot of what he says is true. I mean, I do. I believe in aliens. And honestly, when I see a new documentary come out, like on Netflix or one of them, I have to watch it.
Unacknowledged. That's it. 2017, he put that out. And then The Fifth Kind, Contact Has Begun.
Yep.
That was released in April of 2020. I mean, you talk about enlightening.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, these are people that work for the government. Why? I mean, what do they get out of this? They're getting their lives threatened, you know?
They are.
But he's got like documents and real footage of things that are true just from his research.
Yeah, the big one that started coming out was extremely credible people, like high-end or top-level military personnel.
Yeah, that's what he deals with.
Yep,
so
top-level person
it's
or
really
military
interesting
personnel.
to hear, and it's like, oh my God. You
and
know?
then like the one guy, he almost looks like that guy Fiore. He ran the Pentagon UFO.
Yeah.
Whatever, when they started one like 10 years ago, and then he left. He was like, because people need to know this because there's that much.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I agree with it. There's definitely something there, 100%. And I think if you don't believe, you just haven't seen enough information. And if you do see a bunch of information, you'll believe it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people just in the rat race, you know, and don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather sit there and watch a movie.
Yeah.
You know, than watch something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I agree with. Hey, thanks again for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button and become a resident of the mountain. Thanks again.